Hello students, good afternoon. Once again I am here in front of you. I am your English educator and we are going to continue our chapter, which is the last lesson. And before we start our chapter, I am going to give you a quick revision of this chapter. Let's go. Okay. So student, what happened if we talk about this last lesson? So there was a teacher whose name was Am Hamel, who is going to give his last lesson, because in between the war between Prussia and France, Prussian defeated France very badly, and there was an order from Berlin that from that day all the district of Prussia, that is Alsace and Lorraine, they are going to apply German language, right? They are going to ban which language? French language, and they are going to apply German language. So here Am Hamel, if we talk about Am Hamel teaching from 40 years, right? He is a teacher, he is teaching French language from 40 years. So he become really very sad, because after spending a 40 year in a same place, he have to go from that place, right? He become really very sad and pale, and he said in front of the class that this is my last lesson. Today I am going to leave this school. Today I am going to leave this class also, right? Now what happened if we talk about France? France was a school student, and one day he got up lately in the morning and he was not in a mood to go to school, and he thought that today I will not attend my school. Why? Because Am Hamel is going to ask about participle, and these friends didn't know the single word about participle, so he decided not to go to school, and he decided to go outside because that was a bright day and he wanted to slide in Sar river, right? So he decided not to go to school, not to attend the school, right? But suddenly what happened? Actually, he don't know what happened. Suddenly he decided to go to school, and he went to the way of the school, and on the way of the school he saw a bulletin board. Bulletin board, that means there is a board and all the bad or good news slapped on this bulletin board. And when he was the way of the school, he saw a bulletin board over there, and there is a crowd in front of bulletin board. There was lots of people gathered in front of bulletin board. So he thought that now what happened? He talked with himself that now what happened? From 2 years all the bad news coming on this bulletin board. We saw all kind of bad news from 2 years on this bulletin board, right? So he said that now what happened? And he decided not to read this bulletin board, and he was on the way, but suddenly a blacksmith stopped him for a minute and said, don't be hurry for your school, you will be on time for a school, right? He don't understand that what happened and why this blacksmith telling me like that. And he thought for a minute that maybe he was pulling my leg or he was making joke with me, right? But what happened? When he reached outside of the school, means he was standing on the garden of the school, he was really shocked that there is no hustle and bustle coming from the class. Usually when he went to the garden, he saw a lots of noise coming from the class, right? So that day nobody making noise, everything was silence. So he become really very shocked. He was already late, so he decided to enter in the class between this hustle and bustle, right? But that day there is no hustle bustle in the class, there is silence, right? So after all this thing, he entered silently in the class, and Mr. M. Hamel, who is the teacher who taught them French, was really very strict kind of teacher, having one ruler in his hand, and he thought that definitely he will scold me, but he never say a single word. He didn't say a single word to these friends. Even he said in a very kind way, in a very polite way, that little friends, you just come and sit, we are going to start without you, right? So he become really very shocked once again that what's going on with Mr. Hamel, M. Hamel, right? Why he was behaving like that, right? Now what happened? This is the second shock. So he sat on his place, and when he turned back, he saw usually last bench was empty all the time, right? But he became really very shocked to see that all the old people from the village sitting in the last bench, right? They all are sitting in a last bench of the class. Mr. Hauser was there, former means ex-mayor, former postman, ex-postman was there, and some other old people sitting in the last bench of the class. He become really very shocked that what's going on today. What is the matter? Miss 3 shocked already, having this boy whose name was Franz. Now what happened? Suddenly he saw Mr. Hamel, his outfit means he wore a green coat with white shirt and a silk hat. Usually he was not wearing this kind of clothes. He used to wear these clothes on a special occasion, right? Just like prize distribution day or on inspection day. Okay, so once again he was shocked to see the outfit of Miss M. Hamel, right? That why he wore these kind of clothes. Usually he used to wear it on special occasion. Now what happened? So after all these things, suddenly Mr. M. Hamel said in a very sad voice, in very polite way, that this is my last lesson. Okay, from tomorrow new master will come and he will teach you German language, right? And this is the order from Berlin that in the district of Alsace and the Lorraine, now they will apply German language, right? So friends become really very sad, and before one para he was thinking about his school, what he was thinking about M. Hamel. We already saw that he hated to go to his school. He don't like M. Hamel. He said that he is a strict kind of teacher, and today he is going to talk about participle, and he said that I don't want to go to school, and these history books and this French book, I hate all these books. And suddenly after listening M. Hamel, his feelings totally changed, right? Now he had the emotion towards his country, his nation, his teacher, towards his study, right? So we'll see the next para. Let's see. Poor man. What he said, poor man, it was in honor of this last lesson that he had put on his fine Sunday cloth, right? Now he understands that what happened. And now I understood why the old men of the village were sitting there in the back of the room, and it was because they were sorry too. That they had not gone to school more, right? What? That means you understand, student, when he saw all these kind of things, first of all he become really very short, but when M. Hamel said all the things in front of him, he understood the thing that what happened now. Now I understand why all villagers are sitting over there in the last band, why he wore this green coat and shirt and silk hat, and now he understood that what going on, right? Now let's see. It was because they were sorry too, and it was their way to thanking our master for his 40 year of faithful service. What he thought that yes, I think this in this way they are saying thank you to our teacher who is M. Hamel, who spent 40 years of his life in the same place, right? Then what happened? Their respect for country that were theirs no more, right? And another thing, they are showing their respect towards their country and which is no more, right? Now let's see. While I was thinking of all this, I heard my name called. It was my turn to recite. Okay, when he was thinking all this thing, suddenly MML called him, means I heard my name and it was my turn to recite, and he said I wanted to tell everything in front of him without any pause, means I want to tell everything about this participle without any pause. But what to do? He didn't know the single word about this participle, right? So he said, what would I not have given to be able to say that dreadful rule for a participle all through, very loud and clear and without one mistake, right? Without any mistake, without pause, he wanted to tell everything about this participle, but I got mixed up. Mixed up, that means confused, right? But I got mixed up first word and stood there holding my desk, my heart beating and not daring to look up. What he said, when he was standing on the podium, he was really very confused, he mixed up, and he didn't have courage to look up the people, those who are sitting in front of him. Even he didn't say a single word, right? So what happened after that? Let's see. I heard M. Hamel say to me, what he said to him, that I won't scold you, little Franz, you must feel bad enough. Okay, I won't scold you, little Franz, you must feel bad enough. See how it is. Every day we have said to ourselves, but I have plenty of time, right? I will learn it tomorrow. Means it is not your mistake. All the people, those who are sitting over there, they are thinking like it. What? That we have plenty of time. We will do it tomorrow. We'll learn it tomorrow, right? So he said that what? Each and every people thinking that I have plenty of time, I will learn it tomorrow. Now what happened? And now you see where we have. Now you see where we have come out. That's the great trouble with Alsace shepherds of learning till tomorrow, right? Then what happened? Now those fellows out there will have the right to say to you, how is it? You pretend to be Frenchmen, right? What M. Hamel said, that is the point. What you are thinking about your country, what you are thinking about your language, that I have lots of time, I will do it tomorrow, right? So same thing happened with all the people, and you see where we are right now. And if they will come, if the Prussian come, if the Germany's come, and they will tell us that just tell me something about your language, so you will be not able to tell anything about your language, right? So what he said, what they will say to us, that you pretended to be Frenchmen. You pretended to be Frenchmen, and yet you can neither speak nor write. You are showing off that you are a Frenchman, but you are not able to speak properly, nor you are able to write properly, right? So it is a big question mark for us. Then what happened? But you are not the worst, poor little Franz. We have all great deal to approach ourselves with, right? You are not the worst. We all have The same feeling like that, right? Your parents were not anxious enough to have you learn. They prefer to put you to work on a farm. Your parents are not allowing you to come to school. Even I encouraged them, and they told me that it is good for him to work in a farm. It will support us, right? So what happened? So as to have little more money, and I have been to blame also. What he said, I have been to blame myself also. Why? Because have I not often send you to water my flowers instead of learning your lesson? Means I also done some mistake, right? And he said, haven't I not send you in outside of my class, means send to garden to water my plants, right? And whenever I want to go for fishing, I give you holiday for that, right? What he said, and when I wanted to go fishing, did I not just give you a holiday? Then what happened? Then from one thing to another, M. Hamel went on to talk of French language, saying that it was the most beautiful language in the world. What he said, it was the most beautiful language in the world, the clearest, the most logical language. Okay. Then what happened? That we must guard it among us and never forget it. What we have to do? We must guard it and never forget it, because when a people are enslaved, okay, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison, right? If they have, means the people, those who belongs to France, if they have command on their own language, it is like a key of the prison in their own hand, right? So what happened? Then he opened a grammar and read us our lesson, and I was amazed to see how well I understood it. Means on the last day he was concentrating in the class, right? On the last day only he was concentrating in the class. Another day he was taking easy. He took it as easy. Got it? Then what happened? Let's see. All he said seems to so easy, I think too, and that I had never listened so carefully. Means whatever said by this M. Hamel was really very easy, and I was thinking that why I am not taking care in the class, right? And that he had never explained everything with so much patience, and that he had never explained everything with this much of patience, because it was the last day of M. Hamel also. So he was explaining everything with patience, right? Now what happened? It seems almost as if the poor man wanted to give us all he knew before going away, and to put it all into our heads at one stroke, right? Means when he was teaching us, it looks that he wanted to put everything in our mind in one stroke only, right? Let's see next. So okay, so we'll continue our chapter tomorrow, okay? And up to here we are going to talk about the question answers. Describe the background in which the last lesson of Alfonso Daudet has been set. The last lesson is set in the days of the Franco-Prussian War 1870 to 1871, and France was defeated by Prussia, okay, which is known as German, okay. So France was defeated by Prussia, which is known as German, by an order from Berlin. German language was imposed on the French speaking district of Alsace and Lorraine. Okay. The lesson describes how a teacher in Alsace, M. Hamel, just remember the name of teacher M. Hamel, his student and local villagers reacted to this shocking news. How they react on this shocking news. Okay. Just remember the name of Alfonso Daudet, okay, who is known as the, no, he is only Alfonso Daudet. Okay. Now question number 2. Why did France want to spend his day out of the door? Why he want? For France, what was much more tempting than going to school, and why? Okay. So France was very late for school. Okay. And M. Hamel was to question the students on participle. He is going to ask question on participle, and friends knew nothing about them, feared a scolding from his teacher, the bright weather, wood field and the chirping of birds tempted him to spend the day out of the door, right? So he decided to spend that day out of the door, but he overcame his temptation and hurried off to school. Next one, why was there a crowd in front of bulletin board at the town hall? Why was there a crowd in front of bulletin board at the town? So usually there used to be a crowd in front of the bulletin board at the town hall to have the latest news. All latest news slapped on this bulletin board, right? All the bad news had come from there for the last 2 years, right? I already told you that from the last 2 years they are getting all the bad news on this bulletin board, right? But that day another bad news shocked all of them, and a new order had come from Berlin. Just remember Berlin, okay? German language was to be imposed on French speaking people of Alsace and Lorraine, okay? And so the people had gathered to read the bulletin board at the town hall, okay? At the town hall. Now see next. Describe at least 2 changes that could be seen in M. Hamel after he came to know of that order from Berlin. Let's see. M. Hamel was a Bata's master, okay, but the order from Berlin, this is order, but the order from Berlin completely transformed, okay, him. He didn't rebuke France when he entered the classroom quite late, right? And nor did he scold him when he got mixed up and confused with participle. So what happened? Describe the at least 2 changes that could be seen in M. Hamel. See, lots of changes he saw in M. Hamel. First of all, he didn't scold him. He didn't said a single word when he mixed up or confused on that time, right? And another day he was not actually he didn't say a single word to that friends about not having the command on French language, right? Even he felt guilty from himself. He said that I am guilty even because lots of work given by me. Sometime I gave you to water my garden, sometime I gave you holiday whenever I want to go for fishing, right? So much things shocked him, and one more thing shocked him, that when he entered inside of a class, he saw M. Hamel was in a new dress, right? The dress which wore by M. Hamel in special occasion, just like prize distribution or in a day of inspection, right? So here we talk about the participle and patriotic feelings overwhelmed him. He urged his student as well as the village elders to safeguard, okay, their mother tongue French among them. Okay, see next. Question number 5. How was the scene in the school on the morning of the last day different from that one other day? So, the scene in the school on the last day was different from that the other day. Usually there is hustle and bustle of the morning hours was totally absent. Right, there is no hustle bustle in the class. Right, there was total silence in the class on that day, and it was their last lesson in French, and German was going to be imposed on them from the next day. Hence, all students and even the village elders had gathered there, and everybody was shocked and stunned. Everybody was shocked and stunned. The patriotic feeling had united them. Got it? So student, up to here we are going to close our chapter, today's session, and tomorrow I will continue this chapter. Till then, bye bye.